Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Academy. Yes, I am Thingamajig. This is Thingamajig Racing Channel. And this evening, for your delight, we are back with the Tyre Shredders Racing, the Academy, American Muscle, Round 2. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a 40-minute race using both soft and medium compound tyres, using only American beasts in the Group 3 category. And we worked out last week they've got boost on. I don't know, strong or slight, but there is definitely a boost. So if someone falls back, they come back with a vengeance, ladies and gentlemen. So they've mixed the table, the championship table. I've got one for rounds 1 and 2. So maybe at the end of this race, I'll look for the table and give you a read out of it. Remember, we were at Spa last time with these guys, and now we're at the World Centre of Racing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Daytona road course, street course. It's the Daytona, not the oval. Shall we have a look at the grid then and see how they line up, ready to do battle for 40 minutes around this epic track? On pole position, ladies and gentlemen, again, as we had in the first round, it is the Wolf, Apex Wolf, sitting on pole position. Cracking stuff. He ran away with the race last week, but did feel a little pressure near the end. So we'll see how things go. I haven't looked at the tyres. We'll have a quick flick through the grid when we get to the replay area. In second spot then, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't with us in round 1. It's Gaz. Just simply Gaz, okay? And that is enough for me. Looking very sleek in the blue, black and red. Let's see Gaz second on the grid. In third spot, ladies and gentlemen, we have Colesberg. And I think he was third last time. He loves that third spot. And if you remember rightly, he was very racy, very, very racy in the early parts of the last round. So one to watch, ladies and gentlemen. On third is Carlsberg. Fourth on the grid, also him and Carlsberg were at it early doors at Spa, and it is Racing Sim, ladies and gentlemen, Racing Sim, and he'll be looking to get up an atom. Right, I'm not telling you the cars, are they? These two are Corvettes. That's a Dodge. I think the front's a Dodge. So we've got 2 Dodgers, 2 Corvettes, ladies and gentlemen. Keep up. In fifth, TSR Psy, ladies and gentlemen, looking absolutely splendid in his Corvette. Also, what a view, ladies and gentlemen. The 2 green meanies ahead of him, and he'll be wanting to dispense of them early doors. Then in 6th, I am going to torture and butcher this name. He had a South African flag. That is looking very, is that just, that's not even bog standard. He's actually painted that to look sleek and beautiful. It's Rosun. I don't even remember if that's a W or an N that I've written, because I scribbled. Rosun. It's Ross, ladies and gentlemen. In 7th place, we have the man, the myth, the legend. It's Vane, ladies and gentlemen. Vane came very strong at the end of the last round, so wait. You have to wait for Vane to pop up, and then when he does, he goes full-on attack, ladies and gentlemen. He's following them around in his Dodge Viper. Then in 8th, the only Mustang in the pile, it's our man Hoppers, from Hoppers Motorsports Vlogs on YouTube, and he'll be viewing most of the action from behind, it seems, because that Mustang doesn't seem to be up to scratch on the other cars around it. Right then, that's the grid, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have a quick look for the tyres. Softs for the Wolf. Gaz is on mediums. Carlsberg chose mediums. Then we have a Racing Sim also on the mediums, with Sai going on the off attack with softs. Rosu, oh, it's a W, not an N. Oh, I've got terrible handwriting. Rosu is starting 6th, and he's starting on the softs. Vane's going with the mediums, and Hopman is on mediums also. Let's have no further delay, ladies and gentlemen, and let us get this racing underway. I'll have a quick sip because it's getting dry in here. You wanted to hear that, didn't you? And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going racing 40 minutes around Daytona Road Course, and it's going to be epic as they come down to that first corner, and many a man has slid into the oblivion from this turn, and it looks like Gaz nearly ended up there, but he got on the brakes just in the right time, but has left himself wide open to Carlsberg, who's on those medium tyres. I think Gaz is also on the medium tyres as well, so not much grip when it came down to the first corner, and Carlsberg, like form from the first race, causing a riot in the beginning. Racy at the off, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 40-minute sprint to our man Carlsberg. He's like 3-lap daily race. He's going for it. But Gaz is on the comeback. Gaz up the inside, and it was a cheeky move. And I don't know if Carlsberg felt there was enough space there, but he's coming back at the gas as we speak, side by side. Racing Sim getting a great view of this racing ahead of him as Gaz and Carlsberg just can continue to do battle, but Gaz gets a better drive out of that turn, back onto the oval now, and he is in second place ahead of Carlsberg. It's all about, gentlemen, getting into the slipstream and pulling yourself up and over your opponent. There we go. Racing Sim in fourth place with Rousseau in fifth, and we've got fighting here between Vane and Sai. Sai slipping back on those racing soft tyres. It's a surprise, ladies and gentlemen, but Vane, I'm sure, getting a bit of a boost there, has jumped up ahead of Sai, and Hopper's in the Mustang holding to the back. Right then, Carlsberg, well, Rousseau is getting extremely close to Racing Sim. He's going for an outside line. No toe needed here, so no, now he's going to pop back into the slipstream. It just wasn't enough for him. Corvette on Corvette action here as we see Rousseau try and get the move done on Racing Sim. Racing Sim protecting his inside line there as Rousseau having a look one way and t'other, trying to get a nice outside line to pull it in tight and go up against Racing Sim, but Racing Sim having it covered off. He's covered off all his bases now. Rousseau looking for a run up around the outside, but it's not there. He's got to hope that Racing Sim runs out wide, but Racing Sim does not run out wide, and it has not worked out for Rousseau there. He's going to be staring at the back of the Corvette until the next heavy braking area. Fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Racing Sim covering his bases as Carlsberg goes back on. The apex is down. Apex is down, ladies and gentlemen. Gaz is now in the lead of this race. The racing mediums against the racing softs, and Apex Wolf must have made a small mistake somewhere, or the car caught him out in a corner or two, because we know the Dodge can do such things. And now Apex Wolf has to fight for it. It's not going to go all his own way, ladies and gentlemen. Carlsberg in third place with Racing Sim fending off Rousseau at the moment. A small gap, and Hoppers is up. Hoppers is up into sixth ahead of the Vane and Sai, who are duking it out for seventh and eighth. And boy, oh boy, are they duking it out, ladies and gentlemen. They're getting roughy and toughy out there between the Sai and the Vane, and Vane there just holding off Sai at the moment, but Sai getting the slipstream from Vane and wants to be getting up and at him, ladies and gentlemen. But Vane's there, and Sai's coming in strong, but Vane having it covered off, and Sai just has to be patient, wait down this straight, get a slipstream, try and get him into the braking zone. Hoppers, meanwhile, trying to pull away from the battle here between Vane and Sai. Sai all up and in his business on board with TSR. Sai at the moment as he picks up a slipstream from Vane. Vane, there's nothing he can do, really sit the car in the middle of the road and hope that Sai loses his bottle. And now we're coming up into the braking zone, a heavy braking zone it may be as well. The car can be caught out and you want to turn it here, and both of them make it through, and it's beautiful racing, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful craft being displayed here at the Academy. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Hopper's in sixth then. Apex Wolf has retaken the lead. Oh my gosh, Gaz slipping down into third. He must have made a mistake. The racing is fast and furious up and down the field, ladies and gentlemen, but Apex Wolf back in the lead, and Carlsberg defending from the Gaz. Then we have Racing Sim, and Rousseau is right there on his rear derriere, ladies and gentlemen, and Racing Sim is gonna have to do some real defensive driving in the next lap or two. Gaz going at it with Carlsberg, who's in that second place. Apex Wolf on the racing softs, remember, out there in the lead. How he likes it, ladies and gentlemen. Carlsberg sending a message and chasing him down with the fastest lap so far in this race. And Gaz is on the hunt, ladies and gentlemen. After gaining the lead in this race, he has slipped out of his fingers. Racing Sim defending from Rosso, and Rosso is really meaning business coming through the chicane there. He got some good drive. He had to back off in the middle there, and Racing Sim pretty much survived that one because it looked like Rosso was carrying a lot more speed. Then we've got the Hoppers being caught by Sai now. Sai and Vane have had their battle, and he's left Vane behind as he hunts himself a Mustang. Yeehaw, cowboy. Sai's going to try and catch himself a horse there, with Rosso still chasing Racing Sim. Gaz in amongst it with Carlsberg. The more these two do battle, the better for Apex Wolf it is. Again, you can see in the Dodge Viper, he is running away, ladies and gentlemen, from the chasing Carlsberg. And Gaz going for a move up the inside. It's just about there. Wowzers, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't quite make it, but he's up alongside the Corvette. No, yeah, Corvette now, I think. Corvette. It might not be. I think it is. I don't know. I have no idea what he's driving. Yeah, it's a Corvette. What am I talking? So Gaz then gets up ahead, and these two battling lovely now at the moment, with Carlsberg back on the attack and trying to gain ground on Gaz, but Gaz has got the inside line, and Gaz just about maintains that second spot, but Carlsberg is all about fighting for it. Racing Sim, he seems to have shaken off a Rosso for the time being, and Sai up ahead of the Hoppers slipping in the Mustang, and Sai on those soft tyres, though, remember, having a small advantage from the tyres over Hoppers. Rosso then in 5th place, chasing down a Racing Sim at 49.1 last time out for him, with Rosso at 49.5, but he's good through the chicane, remember, ladies and gentlemen. Closes right in and gets a good run around the outside of a Racing Sim trying to stay to the low ground, making it harder for Rosso to get by, and Rosso, he just needs that slip. It's just not enough, is it, ladies and gentlemen? To the speed out of the corner, just not enough to propel him past, and now he slips in the rear derriere for a tow. And up ahead we've got Gaz and Carlsberg again going at it, hammer and tong, and Gaz goes ahead, but is he taking too much speed into the first corner? He's on the brakes, and my word, Carlsberg barely making the corner, and Gaz somehow, some way, with that late brake, got onto stayed on the grey stuff. Unbelievable stuff. Carlsberg losing a bit of ground to Gaz there after he tried to late brake it as well, and now he's out on the field, ladies and gentlemen. He's not doing what he should be doing, and now Racing Sim is up and into 3rd, but he's still got the South African all up and about his business. And Rosso having a look of the inside, slips it around to the outside, tries to get a swing going, but Racing Sim is on the money at the moment, and the back end sliding from him under the Corvette, and now the Corvette is closing in on Rosso, and Racing Sim just doing a ballet dance with his accelerator at the moment, trying to keep the rear derriere of that Corvette settled and planted, and he is struggling, ladies and gentlemen, to find the traction out of the corners, but at the moment he's just barely ahead of the Rosso. Carlsberg slipping down into 5th place. This will not do for him. He's going to have to get a shake on, as Vane now is up ahead of Sai and the Hoppers picking up a penalty, and that is a killer here on the Daytona track. Apex Wolf at the moment, and now look, Gaz closing in, and the Apex cannot have it all his own way in this race, as he did in the Spa 24 round 1 we had. But Apex Wolf clinging on as the Gaz closes in. It's a beautiful Viper on Viper action out at the front as Racing Sim and Rosso, the long battle, but Rosso had to pay a penalty as he was closing in to make the take on Racing Sim, and Racing Sim survives another lap under the pressure of the South African of Rosso. Carlsberg in 5th, climbing back up the ranks, ladies and gentlemen, and he had a small off in the early part of his lap, and now is fighting it back. I think it was this, no, 5th, the lap 5, you can see he lost 5 seconds and got overtaken by Racing Sim and Rosso. as he was in that battle with the Gaz. Gaz closing in on Apex Wolf, and Apex Wolf now has the pressure. He's got the Gaz pressure all up, and Gaz just makes no beef at all, goes straight through. Gaz is late. He is confident with his brakes, ladies and gentlemen. He'll go very late, and he goes deep into the corner, but somehow, some way, he survives in his Dodge Viper. The man is tuned in to the machinery, ladies and gentlemen. Apex Wolf follows him around in the same machinery as Racing Sim looks to be closing in on them and getting away from Rousseau. Carlsberg in 5th place against the Vane and Sai fighting it out and leaving the Hops behind. We saw Hoppers having a penalty in the Mustang. If not having a Mustang is penalty enough, the game decides he needs more penalties. Gaz leads, ladies and gentlemen. It's a dice and splice out there for the lead of this race. Apex Wolf throwing everything he's got at the Dodge ahead, but Gaz is just driving on form, ladies and gentlemen. He hear me? Hello. Testing. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Oh dear. Don't make this a 2-streamer, please. I don't want to do 2 streams again. My battery ran out of my controller. It just came up as a message saying muted. So Gaz is leading from Apex Wolf. I think we're good. Yeah, everything looks all right. In the chat, I didn't even see that we had chat. Vane saying "Oi" and Wayne saying "Go, go, go, lol." Yes, I had my controller ran out of battery. They're getting shorter and shorter, ladies and gentlemen. All I'm doing is flicking through the crowd to see who is where. So Gaz then out there in front with the Apex Wolf on the hunt for Gaz, and Rosso is through and up ahead of Racing Sim. Rosso finally getting that decisive move done, and now he's up ahead, and Racing Sim doing very well there. I've just noticed on the medium tyres against Rosso, who's on the softs. Now can Rosso do a run towards Apex and the Gaz? There's quite a gap between Gaz and the Apex Wolf. So, and Apex going up the inside. Does he not know that Gaz can brake extremely late? No, Apex through the chicane. Masterful with the Dodge Viper. Vane in the chat saying, fair enough, thought it was my end. No, my battery on my controller just suddenly went. And so Apex Wolf goes and retakes the lead from Gaz there. But we know Gaz has got that late break into turn 1 under his belt, and Apex will have to watch that. That's a dangerous weapon to go up against. Unbelievable here. So Gaz, I'm going to stick with it because he's coming up to turn 1, and Gaz can really carry some speed into the early part of this corner, but no, Apex Wolf keeps it ahead. Wonderful, but look at Gaz. Oh, Gaz has picked up a penalty though. That's the last thing he needed, ladies and gentlemen, when you're dicing and slicing for the lead of the race. So Gaz having to spend that penalty later, and now he's going a little bit wide. My words, it's falling apart for the Gaz. Rosso in 3rd place, but Racing Sim has stayed with him all of the way as Carlsberg slowly chipping away at the gap betwixt him and Racing Sim and Rosso. Rosso so far though, masterful driving on the soft tyres, and here comes Racing Sim up the inside. It's a little late there, Freda, but he gets through, and no, he's lifted again to let Rosso back. He realises that was a wee bit late. What does he say? $1 short. So Rosso still in 3rd, Racing Sim, but that slowed him down for the Carlsberg, whom is heading their way in a swift manner. Sai at the moment in 6th spot, just ahead of Vane. Vane bringing it in strongly here, and Hoppers is still in the peripheral of them. He can see them ahead as Vane closes in on Sai. Sai's tyres are starting to hurt a slight bit from the oval, and Vane can feel this. His tyres still fresh as a daisy. We're already 14 minutes into this race. These tyres could go the whole way, ladies and gentlemen, I think. I don't think tyre is an issue like we saw at Spain. And Vane at the moment just following Sai, trying to find a little bit of purchase there. Get a toe into the chicane. And Sai there, very confident on the entry and the exit. Beautiful stuff. And Vane, all he can do is follow him through. There is no mistakes here to be had from Sai, but Sai does seem to be staying high. Vane opting not to grab a toe from Sai. Maybe he's scared of the wall. He doesn't want to go up that high. But he's coming along with him, and he's oh no, now he's grabbing a toe, and now it's too fast, and he's pulled out of it, and now it's going to be all about the late break. No, he's pulled forward. Nice stuff from the Vane, just grabbed that small toe, and it seemed to help him into the first corner then, and that's Vane ahead of Sai, but Sai coming back at the Vane. So watch out for those, and all the time Hopper's closing in. Apex Wolf leads. Gaz has paid the penalty. He is coming back strong and hard. Rosso still dealing with the racing sim. I don't know if there's a minimum lap they have to do on these tyres. I know they've got to use a it's from 10 minutes to 30 minutes. Yes, I remember now. There's a pit window, ladies and gentlemen, from 10 minutes to... So the pits are open if anyone wants to pit. But I imagine all the soft guys are... The medium guys should come in. I mean, them soft tyres, they look... Oh, I don't know, Rosso's... We're 16 minutes in and they're not... Come in. I'd come in. If I was on medium tyres, I mean, I'd come in. You'd get that boost on the soft tyre as well, being further back. I think it's a no-brainer. I think the medium tyre runners should be coming in, really, because the tyre wear isn't that bad. Apex Wolf, he's going to try and take them tyres all the way up to 30 minutes, and then he's going to put the mediums on just for 10 minutes. Gaz, he's going to be on those mediums. Well, I don't know, how long does he want to be on those medium tyres? Because the softs, I think, will last. And if the pit window was at 10 minutes to 30 minutes, leaving it later is just maybe he's just picking halfway. Maybe he's going to wait for 20 minutes and decide to pit. Racing sim on the medium tyres, he must know that the racing softs can go all the way. And if that pit window is open, get yourself in. Rosso on those softs. And I guess he's going to hold those softs until a lap. Well, I don't know what lap it'll be, because it'll be 30 minutes into the race. We're 17 minutes right now. Carlsberg closing in again, another one on the medium tyres, but taking them longer into the race than I would expect. Maybe the sun is going to rise before the end of the race, and they're all worried about the track temperature later on. I'm not sure, but they're sticking with the mediums. We're at 17 and a half minutes. The pit window's been open for 7 minutes now. Quite clearly, I believe the soft tyres can see 30 minutes of this race. I mean, Sai's already done 17 minutes on his, and they're barely scuffed. Hopper's on his mediums. No, I am blown away. I am blown away with maybe this. Yeah, we'll see. This is the beauty of sim racing, ladies and gentlemen, and not knowing what's going to happen. It's a mystery. So Apex Wolf under pressure from Gaz. Gaz now coming in strong. I mean, why change your tyres? Gaz is more than enough. Mediums are going up against Apex Wolf soft, so I don't suppose it makes no difference what compound they're on. But Gaz then going for gold around the outside, back into the braking zone of this first corner. Apex Wolf onto what we like to call the apex. That is why he's the wolf of it. And Apex Wolf then still stays ahead, but the Gaz seems to find a window. No, he's having another look, and Gaz, he's gabbing at the bit to get by Apex Wolf. He must feel he's got a bit more pace and he can pull away from the Wolf, but the Wolf at the moment is playing the numbers, ladies and gentlemen, and he is laying down that track. He is schooling Gaz on defensive driving, and Gaz just cannot find any way through. There's a gap there, but he's just not close enough, and again Apex Wolf defends his position well. Now Hoppers is in. We're at minute 19. Hoppers changing his mediums. There's no way you could have heard me. This happened weeks ago, ladies and gentlemen. They've done round 4 now, and I'm covering round 2, so there is no influence. So Apex then still out leading with Gaz. See, Gaz, it's got to be worth it coming in. You'll go to the back of the row and you'll get the if it's mild boost or strong boost from being at the back. So yeah, I think Gaz, it's worth going in. Racing Sim has got himself back ahead of Rosso. And I don't know if that's a tyre thing, if Ross is losing a bit of grippage there. He's coming back at Racing Sim. But Racing Sim, these tyre, the lap times are pretty much similar. I mean, the Racing Softs are a bit more worn than the Racing Mediums now. So maybe they're around about similar window, I'm not sure. Carlsberg closing in, no, that's the big news. Not closing in fast enough, though. He's doing 50s like the two ahead of him. Rosso making that move on Racing Sim. Racing Sim staying in tight, giving Rosso no manoeuvrability. So Racing Sim, king of the Apex in that equation. Gaz closing in on Apex now. Again, going for another nibble against the Dodge Viper. Wayne in the chat saying no boost after race one. Oh, as was too messy. And Vane saying too much aggro. Fair enough. Oh, right. So no boost, ladies and gentlemen. I'm mistaken. I think it was in the first race, but no now. Apex Wolf, it was mad. You guys were crazy trying to put boost on Group 3 muscle cars. That's always a recipe for disaster. That you're just never going to slow them down for the corner. You're going to have people coming in so hard and fast. It's going to be awful. So Gaz then right on the tailgate of Apex Wolf, and Apex Wolf is feeling the pressure still. And Apex Wolf, though, he loves it. He thrives under the pressure as Gaz has a sniff, but there is no sniffing here, sir. Just sniff the exhaust fumes, because you ain't getting any fresh air here, says Apex Wolf. Racing Sim still ahead, but we've got a bunch of headlights because Carlsberg has heeded the call and closed in on the two ahead. And Racing Sim feeling the pressure of Rosso, and now Carlsberg joining in the party. Vane is in 6th place ahead of Sai. These two having a long battle betwixt the pair of them. It has been fantastic. Hoppers pitting and putting those soft tyres on. Now Hoppers might be getting lovely fresh air here, and a jump on what's Sai on. Sai's on an old set of softs, Vane on a set of mediums. So hopefully now Hoppers will be picking up faster laps than these two. So when they do pit, he should, in theory, be ahead of them after the pit stops. Gaz back in the lead. He's pulled the move from Apex. Shall we have a look? It can't have been that long ago. Here we go. So here we go into the first corner, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Gaz speciality. He loves that late break into the first corner. And no, Apex had the first corner, so it wasn't that. But coming out of it, Gaz looks very neat and tidy. Again, pulling up alongside, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Coming out of that first corner, he just got the drive on the Wolf. And Apex Wolf now is no longer a lone wolf out front. He has a buddy, and his name is Gaz. Racing Sim still leading the Rosso and Carlsberg show around and doing a fine job. And we are 8 minutes away, well, 7.5 minutes away from the pit window closing. So decisions are going to have to be made soon. Vane and Sai will be wondering, they'll be keeping an eye on Hoppers' little blue arrow and trying to judge what sort of speeds he's doing. And if he's closing in, and if it's worth making a pit stop themselves. Vane and Sai, though, falling over each other, racing hard betwixt the pair of them, and that also will be slowing them down. This could play into the Mustang's hands, ladies and gentlemen. Hopper's just got to keep clean and clear and get those laps in. Gaz leads from Apex Wolf. Racing Sim, Carlsberg's gone for a move on Rosso. Rosso, though, is holding ground underneath. He's lower, he's going to hit the Apex before Carlsberg, but Carlsberg, no, he's going to have to slip in back behind Rosso. No, Carlsberg is holding. They're still side by side, ladies and gentlemen, into the braking zone. And Rosso, his tyres looking very tired. They're looking used and abused, ladies and gentlemen. And Carlsberg gets the move done on those medium tyres. Maybe it's time. Gaz has come in from the medium tyres. Apex Wolf carries on. He's not going to want to get rid of those softs until the very last minute. Racing Sim, he's continuing on, I believe. No, he does. He pulls in to the pits with Carlsberg. continuing, and Rosso following him on those softs again, not wanting to change those softs too soon. Carlsberg, Rosso is ahead. Wow, late braking, but he's outbraked himself. Carlsberg's come up alongside him. Now we are slamming doors, ladies and gentlemen, and Carlsberg gets through, and Rosso down into third as Gaz and Racing Sim change their tyres. Sai and Vane doing a battle, and Hopper's waiting for their pit stops to come. We're at 24 minutes of a 40-minute race, ladies and gentlemen. Racing Sim still in the pits. Wow, this is painful, ladies and gentlemen. What's he doing? Is that how long a pit stop is? Hoppers is still, he's not a threat yet, but wowzers. Wowzers upon wowzers there for Racing Sim. Onto a set of medium tyres then, and Vane and Sai. That's a long pit stop. There's no one pitted up at the top then. No, obviously not. That was the first. No, Gaz pitted. Gaz pitted and managed to get back out in fourth place. So he's put no fuel in. Now, is that enough fuel? Yeah. He's only put half a tank, just under half a tank of fuel. He must feel that that's enough fuel to get to the end of the race. What did they start on? If it was full tanks, then yeah, I imagine. Racing Sim's put an awful lot of fuel in that. And he's gone to the Racing Soft, sorry, but he is ahead of Hoppers and just behind Vane, so he might be able to pick up a slipstream before Vane's pit stop. Sai just ahead of Vane, doing a cracking job. Then we've got Gaz, who's pitted and put onto the soft tyre, and that'll be him for the rest of the race, but he's got less than half a tank of fuel. But we've got 15 minutes of racing left. If they started with a full tank, that might be enough to get to the end. Apex Wolf out there. So, I don't know. The fuel is a big question mark. It's good that these guys are pitting because we can judge what fuel they put in. Because Racing Sim has virtually filled his tank up. He feels that he needs near enough a whole tank to get to the end of this race, but he hasn't even used up a whole tank. Gaz is, he looked like he was gingerly making his way around there. It looks like he's struggling with a bit of grip. Apex Wolf still not pitting, but Gaz, Sai and Vane all moving up as Racing Sim gets the move done. Oh no, Vane's had a spin, ladies and gentlemen. Vane has had a spin, and that has helped Racing Sim get up and into fourth place. Rosso then out behind is a rival there, who's, I think, has put too much fuel in, because Rosso's gone just over half a tank. Gaz has, but maybe he feels he can, I don't know, you know, the fuels, they're all judging the fuel differently to the end of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Rosso has gone a little bit over halfway. Carlsberg has gone 3/4 of a tank. Vane hasn't pitted yet. Hoppers, he's gone over half a tank, so it seems that Gaz may have underfilled, but we will see. I mean, we are coming up to, well, we're just past 27 minutes into the race. Apex Wolf still opting not to pit. He does now. This will have to be the acid test, ladies and gentlemen, to see what fuel he puts in. And there's Gaz picking up a penalty. Sai yet to pit in third place. Racing Sim waiting to take over that third spot. And is Gaz going to be ahead? He's... we saw him having a penalty, but he's taken the fastest lap, and it looks like he may have jumped Apex Wolf. Apex Wolf going on to the medium tyre, remember, the slower, should be the slower tyre, but these tyres seem to have been quite even, and Gaz didn't seem to use a lot of his medium tyres up before he made his pit stop, so we're thinking he might be quite kind to his tyres, as Apex Wolf released just under half a tank, but a lot more fuel than Gaz has decided to take to the end of this race. And Gaz he's not saving fuel, ladies and gentlemen, because he is flicking purples at every single sector. Apex Wolf in second place on the medium tyres. Sai yet to pit. He's got a minute and a half. He will have to pit at the end of this lap, I am sure. Racing Sim right on his 6, and he's got the Racing Softs on now. He's going to be feeling, can he catch up with Apex? He's not that far behind. Apex on those medium tyres. Doesn't take a lot, ladies and gentlemen. A blink of an eye, a small off, and you'll find that the guys catch you up rather easily. Look at Kolsberg. He only had a small off and dropped 2 positions, and he's taking the battle to them. He's got himself ahead of Rosso somewhere around. He's on those soft tyres. Rosso struggling with the medium tyres at the moment. Vane has pitted. He's out ahead of Hoppers. That has not worked out for Hoppers, unfortunately. Oh gosh. So Vane staying out on the medium tyres longer has helped him. Was he on the mediums? He was on, yeah, mediums. Hoppers making that earlier stop hasn't helped him jump Vane. Gaz leads by Apex, and I tell thee what, that is quite a chasm. So if I don't know, Gaz might be slack on fuel. We are just coming up to 30 minutes, so this is Sai going into the pits, I am sure, before they close. He's got 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be tight. Oh my words. He's got 10 seconds, and here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, with 10 seconds to spare. Talk about cutting it tight. Racing Sim then will move up and into 3rd spot, and Carlsberg up into 4th. Where will Sai come out next to Vane? We did see Vane had a spin, though, before he came into the pit, so Sai maybe possibly easy get out ahead of him. Vane is coming around that final corner, though, so the pit crew will have to be rather nippish. They've got to get their job done quickly, because now Vane is on the start straight and he's going to come past quite easily. Wowzers. Poor Sai, absolutely trounced there in the pits by our boy Vane, slinging it. Slinging Corvette. No, I forgot the pit exit is in a different place, isn't it? Sai still out ahead. My word, Sai. I thought with the spin before the pits, that would have been something to get ahead of Sai. Rosso then in 5th place, chasing down Carlsberg. There is a gap between them, and Rosso really not enjoying those medium tyres as we go into the final 10 minutes of this race, round 2 of the American Muscle Cars in Hoppers Academy. Gaz is flying, but he's got to have the fuel, surely. He's not really used that much. So Gaz may have been the most accurate with his fuel here. We'll see if he has to slow it down before the end of the race to try and make that fuel last. Apex Wolf in 2nd place, with Racing Sim in 3rd now. Carlsberg close behind. I feel it's bubbling to a big end here, ladies and gentlemen. Racing Sim on Racing Soft Tyres versus Carlsberg on Racing Soft Tyres. This is building. You can feel the tension in the air. The fuel could ignite. One spark could blow the top off this mama. Racing Sim in 3rd, looking at a podium. 8 minutes left of racing here at Daytona as Carlsberg chases him down in the Corvette. Corvette on Corvette action with the 2 Dodgers up in front. Gaz absolutely trouncing the field. He is schooling the rest, with Apex on those medium tyres, unable to unleash the lap times and chase down Gaz. And yes, there you go. Racing Sim under threat from Carlsberg, who's giving it his all now in these final few laps. Rosso losing touch with the 2 ahead of him. The medium tyre not agreeing, but he has a chasm of space from Sai. Sai also on the medium tyre, and that might give Vane the opportunity to close in if they... Oh no! Vane, there seems to have been fueling issues with Vane on his pit stop. His fuel is flashing. He is never going to get to the end of this race on that fuel tank, sir. He's going to have to go into the pits. Sai, comfortable then. Comfortable as we will see Vane. Maybe not this lap. He might try and save it to the next lap, but he is definitely going to have to make a pit stop, it would seem. Unbelievable stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing in front of our very eyes. Oh, he's not there at the pit stop. Yeah, it's definitely going to be at the end of this lap then. I was in the wrong part of the track. Wayne saying no boost, yeah, and oh yeah, Vane saying too much aggro. So Vane then Oh, heartbreak in the Vane camp on the garage. And they hoped for so much. He was battling. Look, he's caught Psyop. This is the pace that he had on the medium tyres. All for nothing, because he's going to have to come into the pits. And he makes the move, but it's all in vain, ladies and gentlemen. The fuel tank, can he take another lap, Captain? And there we go. Vane slings it in, and he's going to be screaming expletives to his fuel man. Where did you get that bloody measurement from? Still, Gaz is one to watch as well, ladies and gentlemen. 6 minutes from the end is the story of Vane could be the story of Gaz also. Vane in the chat saying, yeah, I forgot to refuel. Well, we're wondering about Gaz as well, because Gaz's fuel is looking rather scary at the moment. Apex Wolf in second place. He's chasing down the Gaz. Racing Sim and Carlsberg ever closer. Carlsberg 48.7 last time around. Racing Sim at 48.5. Racing Sim just keeping him far enough away to avoid giving him the opportunity for a podium here. Rosso on those medium tyres, hoping that the softs start giving way, but we saw in the first stint those soft tyres pretty good. They're they're reliable. They take the hit. Apex Wolf in second, hoping that Gaz's fuel is flashing, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 5 minutes till the end of the race. Can he do it? Can he do it? He did a 46 and the last lap was a 49, so he is trying to back off. He's trying to cruise and glide, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, he's not. He's still screaming the gearbox out. So Gaz, what's he going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, this is unfortunate. There's still a couple of laps to do. There's no way he can get that to the end. I think his only choice is a pit stop. Oh, a heartbreak for the camp. They're looking over at Vane's camp, nodding, saying, yeah, it's happened to us as well. So Gaz, coming up towards the pit entry, or is he going to go round again? He's going to try and go round again. He's going to see, oh, the pit window's closed. I don't even know if they can pit. I mean, they have to, I suppose, or they're not going to finish the race. But I don't know if they carry a penalty for making a pit stop out of the pit window. That's an interesting concept. I didn't even give that a thought about the pit window. So Gaz, at the moment, heading around. Apex Wolf in second place. Might come good from this, because Gaz's fuel is looking rather, it's looking like a sad story, really. And again, he's coming up towards the pit entry. He's going through. He's going through. He's going to try and glide that car to the end, I believe. So Gaz leads. Apex Wolf at the moment, 49.3. Trying to catch up. Gaz did a 52.3 that time around. And he's trying to stretch out that fuel. As Apex Wolf message has reached him, there is issues with the lead car, and he is trying as he can to build up that pace and close up that gap to Gaz. Gaz trying to find a car to get a tow from, I imagine. Racing Sim has built up a buffer from Carlsberg. Carlsberg just couldn't keep up with the heat. And Racing Sim now looks strong in his third place, as Carlsberg in fourth. Rosso in fifth, and the story of the tyres going off ahead of him did not occur. So fifth place for Rosso, which I think is a place higher than he qualified. So you've got to say it's a good day at the office. Sai easily ahead of Vane, who had to take that extra pit stop, and I don't know how it works in the group, but may incur an extra penalty for pitting outside the pit window. And Hopper's struggling to get that Mustang around this track. It is just not built for racing. I don't know what it's built for. To look at, I guess. Gaz at the moment then. We have 2 minutes left on the counter. His fuel is, he's on vapors virtually. He's still well ahead of Apex Wolf though. Apex Wolf slamming out the 49s on the reg, early 49s, with Gaz doing a 14, well, he did a 49 and a half and then a 52, but he smashed out some 46s, which are very impressive there for the Dodge Viper. And he's going through, ladies and gentlemen. He's going through again. And if he can play his cards right, well, this is definitely going to be the final lap. And in the chat then, Wayne said that's what she said. I can't remember what I said, Wayne, sorry, man. And Vodka Rob saying good afternoon, sir. So, Gaz, my good golly gosh, is ahead of Apex Wolf. This is the final lap, I am sure. And Gaz is he's had to back off. He's doing some really slow laps, but he did the work earlier in the race. As he come out the pit stop on those soft tyres, he smashed a couple of laps in, and has afforded him to be able to cruise around at the end here as Apex Wolf sets chase. The blue arrows are getting closer, but so is the checkered flag. It's going to be a tight finish here, ladies and gentlemen. Racing Sim comfortable in third. Carlsberg, he doesn't look like he's going to be able to make any changes to that order on this lap. Rosso on the medium tyres in a safe fifth. Vane ahead of Sai. But Vane may be picking up, I don't know, a penalty for pitting out the pit window. I'm not sure. Sai in seventh, Hoppers in eighth. Gaz then. My gosh, there is a sliver of red in that tank. We're on the other side of the track, but there isn't much left. Apex Wolf isn't quite into the chicane yet. Gaz might just pull this off. One big long turn until the checkered flag. Vane crosses in sixth ahead of Sai, and Hopper's there in eighth. And Gaz still has fuel, still has the ability to accelerate, and it looks like Gaz has done the impossible with nothing in the tank, and he comes across as the winner, ladies and gentlemen. Well done, Apex Wolf in second place, and my word, you have to say that was tight. And Racing Sim, he rounds out that top three as Hoppers crosses the line for eighth, and we have Racing Sim bringing it home in third spot. Fantastic racing, ladies and gentlemen, with Carlsberg in fourth. Beautiful stuff. And Rosso, just the medium tyres, he just couldn't get on top of those medium tyres there to put a battle up for Carlsberg and Racing Sim at the end there. But like I said, finished a place higher than his qualification, which you've got to walk away thinking that's a win. So Gaz, what an absolute drama-filled race for Gaz, and we doubted that fuel, and we shouldn't have doubted. I doubted that fuel right up until the checkered flag, and I didn't waver until he crossed the checkered flag. I did not think he was going to make that, ladies and gentlemen, and I cannot believe that he did. Unbelievable stuff. Well done to the Gaz. So in the chat, Vane saying, is round 3 next week? I'll get him in. Yeah, I've got a few things. Yeah, it probably will be nearer the end of the week, I'm afraid. Sorry, sir. I'm trying to get him in when I can, but I've got the URL Sunday evening race coming up that I'll try and do Monday night, and then Tuesday night I've got the OTH people, and then Wednesday I'm usually live with the URL people. So Thursday I could probably get it in, maybe. We'll see. Thursday I usually have the night off, and Friday I'm live, and then Saturday, the weekend, we catch up on all the replays we haven't done yet. That's Thingamajig's schedule, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I work it out. I think, well, I try and do them in chronological order, but you guys are like 4 rounds ahead of me, so I'm just slipping them in as and when I can. So the Gaz is the winner of that race. Apex Wolf in second place, with Racing Sim bringing it home in third. Carlsberg in fourth. Rasu is in fifth, with Vane in sixth. Sai comes home in seventh, and the Mustang disappoints again in eighth place. Right then, we'll catch up with some of this chat, and then I'm going to have to practice in a Group 4 Huracan Lamborghini around Lago Maggiore for tonight, so I can come last. I can't wait. Wayne saying, love the comms. Dava saying, thanks, Bud, keep up the fab work. Vodka Rob saying, have you had any time to practice for your league races? Not yet, I'm just about to. Vane says, no worries, just so we know. Ha ha ha. Appreciate what you're doing. That's all right, man. And Dava saying, TSR Sai. Dava is Sai. Well raced, ladies and gentlemen. Well raced to the Tyre Shredders crew. Fantastic stuff. I am here for it, and I will try and bring you round 3, which I think is St. Croix, as soon as I can. Honestly, I am on it, ladies and gentlemen, like a car bonnet, I swear. Tiru, peace and love. Peace. Oh no, wrong button. Peace and love.